The whole Scarlet and Violet generation gets a lot more hate than I think that it probably should. I personally like the Scarlet and Violet gen. I understand the desirability behind Sword and Shield as far as alternate arts go. Like, we had some really good sets, really starting with Chilling Reign, some of the most amazing artworks we've ever seen, and then obviously the introduction of Evolving Skies with all of those great evolution lines, all those cool alternate arts. The Rayquaza alternate art took a bit of a step back for a lot of people with Fusion Strike, then kind of hit it out of the park again with Brilliant Stars, and things just, they continued to get better. And then we had the introduction of the Trainer Gallery with Brilliant Stars, and Astral Radiance looked pretty good, and then Lost Origin, which was absolutely phenomenal, finally ending with Silver Tempest before Crown Zenith came out, which had even better artworks. And I think a lot of people then were kind of like took a step back. They were like, well, I don't know what to think about Scarlet and Violet. And I think a lot of that has to do with all the new Pokemon that were introduced, right? There's a lot of new Pokemon. We get this in every new generation. The first couple sets kind of start out a little bit meh, but I personally really enjoy a lot of the new Pokemon. I think a lot of them are really cool. I love Annihilate, I love Gimmighoul, I love Graveyard. I think there's some really, really cool new Pokemon that were introduced into the game, and I enjoy playing the actual video game, and I enjoy actually opening up the cards from the new sets. I understand that pull rates are actually relatively good, and I think a lot of people are kind of like almost upset, and you can let me know in the comments section. Maybe I'm like totally off base here, but I think a lot of people are kind of upset about the fact that the chase cards are a little bit easier to get than what you would have seen from the Giratina in Lost Origin and from the Umbreon VMAX in Evolving Skies. I think some people really enjoy that chase because when they actually hit it, they feel like they accomplished the impossible. And maybe you don't have that as much with Scarlet and Violet, with the special illustration Miriam from the Scarlet and Violet base, or the special illustration Iono from Paldea Evolved. But personally, I really enjoy both of them, Scarlet and Violet and Paldea Evolved. And I actually like Paldea Evolved more than Scarlet and Violet. And when I saw the Charizard leak, and you can let me know what you think of Obsidian Flames, when I saw the Charizard leak, the Terra Charizard, I was kind of like, meh. Obviously, I recorded videos. I was like, it's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not something that's really pulling me into the set more and more. But then, as the additional leaks came out, personally, I guess maybe I'm just a simple collector. Maybe I'm just a simple guy, because I love the Pidgeot line. I love the story. I love the illustration. The artist is phenomenal, but the Pidgeotto, the Pidgeot, I think are absolutely crazy good. I love the Houndour. I love the Scizor. And all of a sudden, it's like, boom, I'm really excited for Obsidian Flames. I know we've got Pokemon 151, Scarlet and Violet 151 coming out in September right after that. And then all of a sudden, we've got another new set in November that's coming out that was just kind of announced earlier today. It's going to be a crazy few months, but I wanted to circle back to Paldea Evolved, because we talked about this not too long after the set came out, because things were going a little bit crazy with a few of the illustration rares, like Magikarp, like Tyranitar, even Raichu, and a lot of people thought, okay, well, this isn't going to hold. But Paldea Evolved is actually doing extremely well when it comes to value that you can expect to get out of your booster box. A lot of times, we like to look at the value that you can expect, the expected value when it comes to your booster box, because you don't want to spend a lot of money on this hobby and then not have anything to show for it, because a lot of people then get upset, they leave the hobby, they're frustrated, things like that. But Paldea Evolved, a great set to open, a lot of fun looking at the artworks. I think a lot of the Pokemon are fantastic. I think a lot of the arts, a lot of stories in Paldea Evolved look absolutely amazing, and the value that you're getting, you can have a lot of fun. We talk about the difference in booster box cost minus the expected value. That's your fun cost, right? You spend money going to see a movie, you spend money going mini golfing, you have an entertainment cost associated with each of those things. No different than opening up Pokemon. If you're opening up Pokemon cards to make money, you're not going to have a good time. It's just not going to work, especially right now, because Pokemon is in a very interesting state right now. But the important thing to remember is Pokemon's extremely cyclical. We're going to talk about market saturation later on in the week. And I mean, over time, if you want to be a big Pokemon investor, over time, everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. Enjoy the cards, enjoy the art, have fun with the hobby. But we're going to look at Paldea Evolved today to kind of get a sense for what you can expect to get out of your booster box. And we're going to start out looking at the double rares or the regular art EXs, because a lot of them, for the most part, are bulk, but there's a couple of them, and this is important, that are actually selling for a little bit more than bulk pricing. If we look at the Squawkabilly right down here, which I spelled incorrectly, it's selling for $3 currently. Obviously not a big price, but we're going to put a $2 price point on all bulk EXs, because I think you should be be able to get about $2 for a bulk EX if you kind of separate things, take your time to sell, expected value out of them. But the Squawkabilly selling a little bit better. It does have some competitive play associated with it, so that kind of helps out a little bit. But the Chime Pow, not doing bad at all, and this might get impacted a little bit by the decks that are coming out. We might see this go down quite a bit. But you're looking at $8 right now. Chime Pow did okay at the North American International Championships. We don't have another big tournament until the World Championships, which is taking place in August, a little bit less than a month away. But Chime Pow doing fairly well, and it's always important to look at these double rares or these regular art EXs because these are the ones that you pull more of, right? They have a little bit better of pull rates. So when you're opening up a booster box and when you're going into opening up a booster box, you want to find a little bit of value in your regular arts because that really helps offset some of the cost of that booster box. It's really important to kind of look at those ancillary hits, and we're going to talk more about that later on in the video. But the trainers, the energy cards, commons, uncommons, rares, hollows, things like that might have a little bit of value associated with them. In the bulk video that I recorded on Sunday, which if you haven't watched, go back and watch that. But there was a lot of comments of people like talking about Astral Radiance and how great it was opening up an Astral Radiance pack. And even if you pulled like an Irida or a Registeel or a Regigigas or some of the trainer cards in there, they have a little bit of value associated with them, so it actually makes it feel more worth your while when you're opening up a booster packs. The booster packs. If we look at the ultra rares here, these are actually just full arts, and we're believing that they have the same pull rates. So the big thing to remember about pull rates is I don't necessarily believe there's going to be unique pull rates per card. I think there's unique pull rates per rarity, which you can get with a decent sized sample pack or sampling of booster packs. However, I think that is more broken down by rarity. So you're going to pull. There's going to be approximately the same amount of Fortress EXs in existence as Belly Bolt EXs, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. If you think, Fanny, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, there's definitely pull rates based off of specific cards. I think it's more focused on rarity, but the Fortress EX selling for $4, most of these selling for close to bulk pricing with the exception of the Chime Pow, which is selling for $10. Not too bad. You do have the Tinkaton EX selling for about $7. You have the full art Boss's Orders, not the special illustration rare, just the full art. That one is also selling for $7. And the Dendra selling for $5. The big one is the Iono. This is not the special illustration art one. This is just the regular full art Iono selling for $36. Iono is going to be an expensive card. It's going to continue being an expensive card because it's not just going to be desired amongst collectors, but it is going to be desirable amongst players as well. A lot of players running 3-4 copies of this pretty much in every deck, and they're going to continue running 3-4 copies of this card in just about every deck as long as Iono is in circulation, as long as it's in the competitive format, because it does offer that deck disruption, but it also lets you increase consistency through your deck to kind of draw through your deck if you need draw support, things like that, but also can really slow down your opponent if they have a huge prize advantage or a big prize lead or something like that. If we look at the illustration rares, this is kind of where things get interesting. So you do have that Magikarp right there selling for $45 currently. So that did drop quite a bit, much more respectable than where it was. Still a little bit high, right? Still a little bit high, but it definitely has dropped quite a bit. But there's a lot of illustration rares that have actually gone up a little bit in price. Not a lot, but maybe $1 or $2. You have the Heracross selling for $6. You have the Spirigatito selling for $9. You have the Florigato selling for $5. You have the Fuecoco, which is selling for $10. The Ice Cube is up to $8. The Meryl is up to $7. You've got the Frigibax selling for $9. Baxcalibur is selling for $12. The Raichu still holding on, not bad, selling for $16 currently. Miss Magia selling for $6. You have $10 on that Tinkatuff, $6 on the Paldea Tauros. You have $20 on the Tyranitar, so that's come down a little bit. Not a whole lot again, but it's come down a little bit, down to $20. And you have that Mousehold for $9 for the most part. The rest of them selling for $3, $4, $5, somewhere around that price range. The Flamigo selling for $7. That one might be a little bit interesting moving forward because of the United Wings attack. We'll see how that one does in competitive play. As long as Lost Zone continues to be a thing in competitive play, United Wings Flamigo is really going to struggle. But if Lost Box takes a back seat, it wouldn't surprise me to see that United Wings deck really start to pop off. And a lot of people might start playing that Flamigo card. We saw what happened with that Gardevoir from Chilling Reign. All of a sudden the trainer gallery Gardevoir with the Arcana ability really started shooting up in price. Right at one point in time, it was selling for about $20, $25 around that price point, which was absolutely crazy. But a lot of different values than what we're typically used to seeing with trainer gallery cards. A lot of trainer gallery cards from Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, and Silver Tempest selling for $1 to $2, except for a little bit of the harder ones to pull. These ones, if you assume the same pull rate, selling for decent price points. Like I said, the Raichu at $16, the Baxcalibur at $12. A lot of favorite Pokemon, a lot of great artwork, things like that, and there's quite a few of them in Paldea Evolved. That's the difference between Paldea Evolved and Scarlet and Violet. Paldea Evolved has about 25% more ultra rares, so there's a lot more illustration rares, special illustration rares, a lot more ultra rares in general that you can pull. If we look at the special illustration rares, some of these have been hit fairly hard, but some of them, again, not doing too bad in price. We have the Meowscarada selling for $15. The Wuching is selling for $11. The Skeledirge is selling for $14. The Chi-Yu is holding on fairly well. That special illustration art is selling for $20 currently. The Chine Pao special illustration rare is selling for $28. The Tinkaton EX is actually doing very well. This one went up a little bit. This one is selling for $16. Ting Lu at $11. The Squawkabilly is selling for $13. The special illustration Boss's Order is selling for $14. Dendra is selling for $19. That Iono did come down, but still at that $100 mark. So the special illustration rare Iono selling for $100 currently in the Grusha, selling for $17. The rest of them fairly cheap, at least in single digits, but most of them relatively affordable, but still some of them that are a little bit expensive. If we look at the hyper rare or the gold cards, you have the Meowscarada selling for $7, the Skeledirge selling for $6, the Quaquaval selling for $4, the Ting Lu selling for $5, the Chime Pao, the only gold Pokemon that's in double digits, selling for $14. Just kind of tells me that a lot of collectors, a lot of players, not necessarily interested in the gold Pokemon anymore. Maybe you just kind of focus on special illustration rares, things like that. I understand Pokemon wants to continue to introduce these cards, but they're falling out of favor fast, and you can tell that just by dropping values and things like that. If we look at the gold item cards, the Super Rod is selling for $13, the Superior Energy Retrieval selling for $7, the Grass Energy selling for $6, and the Water Energy selling for $10. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these secret rare energies as we get the Cosmic Hollow Foil energies in Scarlet and Violet 151. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in those. That might back off these secret rare energies even more. A lot of them very cheap right now, continuing to fall further and further down as they fall out of play with a lot of the competitive players. So what does this all break down to? So when it comes to pull rates for Scarlet and Violet in general, the generation that we're in right now looks fairly decent. You're going to be getting about 12.27 hits out of each booster box. So every 36 packs that you open, you can expect somewhere between 12 and 13 ultra rares. Some of them might be a little less. You might get 11. Some of them might be a little bit more. You might get 14 or 15 at times. But on average, you're going to be getting 12.27 ultra rares per booster box, at least when it comes to Paldea Evolved and Scarlet and Violet. We can expect the same from Obsidian Flames. We pretty much got the same pull rates throughout the entirety of the Sword and Shield block, but very strong pull rates when it comes to the Scarlet and Violet generation. When it breaks down by rarity, if we assume each card doesn't have its own unique pull rate, but each rarity has its own unique pull rate, then we break that down by double rares, ultra rares, illustration rares, special illustration rares, and hyper rares. So the double rares are also known as the regular art EXs. You can expect 4.86 per box. For the most part, you're going to get 5. Sometimes you might get 4. That means 1 out of every 7 booster packs, you can expect to get a regular art EX or a double rare. Your average price point on those is $2.41, so a little bit better than bulk. That means per box, you're expecting about $11.71 worth of value out of regular art pulls in your Paldea Evolved booster box. If we look at ultra rares, the full art, so you might get a couple of full arts, you might get a full art trainer, and then another full art, you might get 2, you might get 3, but it breaks down to 2.37 ultra rares or full arts per booster box. That's 1 out of every 15 packs with an average price point of $4.85 per full art, per ultra rare. That means per box, you're expecting to get about $11.50 worth of value out of your Paldea Evolved booster box. If we look at illustration rares, pretty much breaks down to 3 exactly. Very rarely will you find a box that has less than 3, so you're getting about 3 illustration rares per box. That's 1 out of every 12 packs that you open with an average price point of $7.19. Now this is going to be skewed a little bit by that Magikarp, by that Tyranitar, by that Raichu, but for the most part, $7.19. A lot of them are selling for around that $7, $8 mark. Some of them a little bit more, some of them a little bit less, but $7.19 is the average value of all those illustration rares. That means that you're going to be expecting about $21.57 worth of value out of your illustration rares. Obviously, this could go way up. If you pull 1 Magikarp, your numbers are already above that price point. The average special illustration rares, 1.31. You're going to be getting about 2 total of those heavy hitters, those special illustration rares or hyper rares per booster box. You could get 2 special illustration rares, or you could get 1 and then 1 hyper rare, but on average, it's going to be 1.31 per booster box. That's 1 out of every 27 packs with an average price point of $19.87 per special illustration rare. That means in your box you can expect to get $26.11 worth of value out of your Paldea Evolved booster box. When it comes to hyper rares, those gold cards, you can expect 0.73 out of your booster box. So a little bit less than one per booster box. One out of every 49 packs, you're going to pull one of those gold cards. Average price point for those, not great. You're only looking at about $8 on those, which means out of your booster box, you can expect about $5.83 worth of value out of Paldea Evolved for those gold cards. How does this all break down? So that means your total value of hits that you can expect out of your booster box is about $76.72. When we talk about ancillary value, those cards that we were talking about before, the Ionos, the Jet Energies, the Reversal Energies, the Bulk, things like that, probably right around $10, maybe even a little bit more than $10. You can probably expect to get 2-3 Ionos out of your booster box. Those are selling for $1.50 to $2 a piece. Then you've got the Jet Energies, like I said, the Reversal Energies, and a couple other cards as well. The ancillary cards in Paldea Evolved are actually fairly good. Not a whole, I mean, there's a lot of bulk in Paldea Evolved, but there's some that you don't want to put in your bulk pile, which we talked about in Sunday's video. That means if we add that to your total value hits, you're looking at a total value of about $86.72 that you can expect to pull in value out of your Paldea Evolved booster box. But if you look at the market price right now, and this is the key to look at, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think these prices are going to stay at this point for a while, especially as more and more sets come out. We have 3 sets over the span of 4 months. That's really going to continue to drive Scarlet and Violet and Paldea Evolved down because we're getting overwhelmed with product. And basically what that means is a lot of storefronts are going to want to try and sell these off basically at cost, so that way they can pay invoices moving forward for all these new releases that are coming out. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to carry the new sets. So with a market price as low as it is, $99.81 per booster box, that means your difference or your fund cost is only about $13.09, which really isn't bad at all when you think about it. If you buy by the case, you can buy cases of Paldea Evolved for $5.60, $5.75, where it breaks down to about $95, $96 per booster box, and then all of a sudden you're looking at a fund cost of $9, $10, which makes Paldea Evolved really not a bad set to open at all. Paldea Evolved is a set that you can have a lot of fun with. There's a little bit of value in there, and it's something that you're not going to lose a whole lot of money opening up, which I think is a really big point, a big thing in the long haul. And I think they're doing a great job with printing when it comes to the Scarlet and Violet generation. So I want to throw this information out there so you could take a look. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you enjoy the content, please leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a long way for the algorithm. Most importantly, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. Share the video so more people can subscribe. But regardless, thank you so much just for taking the time to listen to me ramble for 15 minutes about Pokemon. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'll talk to you again soon in a couple days. Until then, guys, peace.